Functions of the integument. Here is my model of the skin. In my model, you can see pores, hair shafts, epidermis, dermis, acrine sweat glands, root hair plexuses, Pacinian corpuscles, veins and arteries, erector pili muscle, and sebaceous oil glands. There are 3 layers of the skin. The first one is the epidermis. The epidermis is the outermost layer of our skin and serves to protect, absorb nutrients, and maintain homeostasis. It is an avascular region, so it does not contain any blood or blood vessels. And it is made up of 3 main types of cells and arranged into 4 layers. The second is our dermis. The dermis is the layer found underneath the epidermis. It is made up of dense, irregular connective tissue with many blood vessels and even blood. It is broken into 2 regions, the papillary layer and the reticular layer, which allow nutrients and oxygen for the cells, as well as the ability to sense pressure and pain. The innermost layer of our skin is our hypodermis. The hypodermis is made up of subcutaneous tissue and serves as the connection between the skin and the muscles and bones below, as well as a fat storage area. The epidermis. There are 3 types of cells that make up the epidermis: melanocytes, keratinocytes, and Langerhans cells. Keratinocytes form at the base of the epidermis and begin to produce and store the protein keratin. Keratin is a major component of what makes the skin, hair, and nails grow. On the other hand, melanocytes produce the pigment melanin to protect the skin from the UV rays and sunburn. Next, we have the layers of the epidermis. The epidermis has 4 distinct layers, except in the areas where the skin is really thick. For example, the palm of your hand, the sole of your foot. They have 5 layers. You have the stratum basal, which is used to produce cells and hold the melanocytes, the stratum spinosum, which houses the Langerhans cells, the stratum granulosum, where keratinocytes start to produce waterproof functions for the skin, the stratum lucidum, which is only found in the thick skin, and the stratum corneum, that is made up of dead keratinocytes to protect the other layers. Here is a drawing that shows you the layers of the epidermis. Next, we have the sweat glands, perspiration, evaporation, and heat capacity of the integument. There are 2 main types of sweat glands in the integument: the merocrine and apocrine sweat glands. The merocrine sweat gland is a coiled tubular gland that is in charge of controlling the body's temperature. The apocrine sweat gland is open to the hair follicle, which can cause unusual and distinct smells, especially in the areas where hair later develops due to puberty. In the integument, we have insensible perspiration and sensible perspiration. Insensible perspiration is the loss of body fluid by evaporation. It is constantly excreted by the sweat glands in the skin and is the portion that evaporates before it provides moisture to the skin. While, on the other hand, sensible perspiration is the loss of body fluid through sweat glands and is the portion that is excreted as moisture to the skin. Evaporation and heat capacity of the skin. By evaporating your body's sweat, this allows you to cool down. The heat capacity of the skin is the amount of heat needed to raise the system's temperature by 1 degree. Next, we have cholecalciferol and cholesterol in the human body. Cholecalciferol is vitamin D3, which is one of the largest forms of vitamin D. It is usually synthesized in your skin and helps regulate your calcium levels. Too much cholesterol in the skin can cause harm to your legs, leading to a condition called peripheral arterial disease. This can cause your toenails to thicken and loss of hair on your legs. Thanks for watching my presentation of the integument. I hope you learned something new.